Assalamu alaikum everyone. So we are starting with O-level maths. The syllabus is 4024 and let me first focus on the syllabus. Now this is the syllabus that is used for the exam in 2025, 2026 and 2027. So this is the latest syllabus. So now over here, if we focus on the syllabus, let's go through this. And first of all, if we look at the syllabus overview, so in the syllabus overview, I hope you can all hear me clearly. The aims are to enable students to develop a positive attitude towards math in such a way that encourages enjoyment, establishes confidence, and promotes inquiry and further learning. So one of the key aims is that you get comfortable with maths. You understand math very, very well, and you use it for further studies. Develop a feel for number and understand the significance of the result obtained. Now this is very important. For example, if you solve a question and you are getting something as 25 kilometer per hour, so you should understand that this answer makes sense, that this is a realistic answer. Whatever is the context of the question, I'm just giving an example, so the answer makes sense. Apply the mathematical knowledge and skills to their own lives and the world around them. So now I can say that this is real life math. So we can talk about everyday maths, we can talk about trigonometry, we can talk about angle of elevation, angle of depression, and so on. Use creativity and resilience to analyze and solve problems. Communicate mathematics clearly. Develop the ability to reason logically, make inferences, and draw conclusion. So what is the objective of math? It's not just about numbers. It's not just about using a calculator. When we talk about math, it's basically learning to make you think. Learning, so just excuse this thing. So this is learning to make you think logically. That is the whole purpose of mathematics. Develop fluency so that they can appreciate the interdependence of and connection between different areas of maths. And what are the different areas of maths? It could be geometry, mensuration, it could be arithmetic, algebra, and so on. Acquire a foundation for further study in mathematics and other subjects. So these are the aims of this particular syllabus. Now, what our objective is, that this whole syllabus 4024, or for that matter the Igcse 0580, the whole perspective is we will go over the complete syllabus, and just now we'll be looking at what are the topics. There is no particular order of topics that we need to study in. It could be in any order. So we will start with the moderate topics and then we'll go to the difficult ones. So now this is the content overview. So now, as you can see on the screen, there are 9 major topics that we will study. What are the 9 major topics? The 9 major topics are number. Another name is arithmetic. So let me write this down. So when we talk about numbers, we are talking about arithmetic. And then there is algebra and graphs. That is the next topic. Then there is coordinate geometry. Then there is geometry. Then there is mensuration, which includes 2D and 3D. Trigonometry, transformation and vectors, probability and statistics. Now keep in mind that O-level math is a compulsory subject. Every single person who studies O-levels, they study mathematics. So English, that is the medium in which subjects are being taught, that is compulsory. And basic math, which we are going to study now and throughout the whole year, these two are basic subjects. So these are the 9 major areas on which we'll be focusing. The subject content is organized by topic and not presented in a teaching order. So this is important. It's not necessary that we teach in this order. It could be in any order. So sometimes I start with arithmetic. Sometimes I start with algebra. So this time I'll be starting with algebra. What does it further say? This content structure allows flexibility for teachers to plan delivery in a way that is appropriate for the learners. So what I have observed is that algebra is something that what people relate with. Numbers, arithmetic is also easy. So both these topics are easy. So we can start with any one of them. Learners are expected to use techniques listed in the content and apply them to solve problems with or without the use of a calculator as appropriate. And the objective is that whatever the papers are, whether it's paper 1, whether it's paper 2, paper 1 is without calculator and paper 2 is with calculator. So they are able to solve this thing. So till now, this is just an overview of what the main topics of the syllabus are, what are the aims of the syllabus. So now if I look at the assessment overview, so if I look at the assessment overview, certain changes have been made. So now some new topics were added in O-level maths, and first it used to be an 80-mark paper and then a 100-mark paper. Now it's a 100-mark paper. Let's go through it. Now over here, what we observe is that paper 1, that is the non-calculator version. So let me just draw some lines like this. It's for 2 hours, it's 100 marks, and structured and unstructured questions. Use of a calculator is not allowed, and externally assessed. That means we send it to the University of Cambridge and they assess it. Whereas when we compare with a calculator paper, that's also for 2 hours and it's for 100 marks. So before, it used to be for 2.5 hours. Now it's only for 2 hours, 2 hours for paper 1, 2 hours for paper 2, 100 marks each, are 50%, that's the weightage, 50%, that's the weightage, 100 and 100, it's equal weightage. Structured and unstructured questions, a scientific calculator is required externally assessed. So that is the difference between the two papers. So now let's look at the syllabus. Now, even before that, there are certain assessment objectives. AO1, AO is assessment objectives. When an exam is taken, what are the objectives? So now the objectives are recall and apply mathematical knowledge and techniques, carry out routine procedures in mathematical and everyday situation, understand and use mathematical notation and terminology. So you should understand when the examiner says calculate, deduce, approximate, estimate, we will learn all these terminologies. Perform calculations with and without a calculator, organize, process, present, understand information in written form, tables, graphs, and diagrams. So that is the whole objective. You should understand a question. The question is in English. Understand, translate into math, devise the process, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and then work it out. Estimate, approximate, and work to the degree of accuracy appropriate to the context and convert between equivalent numerical forms. What does it mean? It means that we can be working in decimals, we can be working in percentages, we can be working in fractions. So that conversion, that should be well versed. You should be well versed in that. Understand and use measurement system in everyday use. Meters per second, time in days, hours, minutes, seconds, year, kilometer, meter, centimeter, and so on. Measure and draw using geometrical instruments to appropriate degree of accuracy. Some constructions, drawing a triangle using a ruler, compass, protractor, and so on. Recognize and use spatial relationship in 2 or 3 dimensions. That means, is this a 2D figure? Is this a 3D figure? Does it look like a circle? Is it a circle? What are the criteria of it being a circle? And so on. So this is AO1, knowledge and understanding of mathematical technique. What is the next one? Analyze, interpret, and communicate mathematically. Candidates should be able to analyze a problem, identify a suitable strategy to solve it, including using a combination of processes where appropriate. That means write down a formula. If it's a 3D figure, is it open figure? Is it like a cylinder? Is it open from one end? Is it open from two ends? Is it a pipe? Is it a solid cylinder? And so on. Make connections between different areas of mathematics, algebra, arithmetic, geometry, transformation, vectors, link them. Recognize patterns in a variety of situations and make and justify generalization that is related with number pattern. Make logical inferences and draw conclusions from mathematical data or results. Communicate methods and results in a clear logical form. Interpret information in different forms and change from one form of representation to another, table to a graph, and vice versa. So now this is the thing that is there, and this is the weightage, so we don't have to go into so much detail. I'll pass this thing to you. So now that's where this perfect syllabus, that thing is starting. That is the subject content. The syllabus gives you the flexibility to design a course that will interest, challenge, and engage your learners. Where appropriate, you are responsible for selecting resources and examples to support your learners' study. These should be appropriate for the learner's age, cultural background, and learning, as well as complying with your school policies and local legal requirements. Learners should pursue an integrated course that allows them to fully develop their skills and understanding, both with and without a calculator. A list of formulas is provided on page 2. So that must be at the back. For the examination papers, please note that not all required formulas are given. Now this is important. Not all required formula are given. There are some that you need to memorize. The notes and example column on the subject corner will indicate when a formula is given in the examination paper. So this we will see in a short while. And when a formula is not given, that is knowledge of a formula is required. So now this is about numbers. That is the first thing. These are the subtopics: ordering, for operation, indices, standard form, estimation, accuracy, ratio proportion, rates, and so on, percentages, using a calculator, time, money, exponential growth, decay, surds, and so on. Now I'm starting with this particular thing, that is algebra and graphs. Know that letters can be used to represent generalized numbers. Substitute numbers into expressions and formulas. And then this one is introduction to algebra. This one is algebraic manipulation. Simplify expression by collecting like terms. Expand product of algebraic expressions. Factorize, complete the square. Then there is algebraic fractions of these type. Manipulate, factorize, simplify. Then there is indices. Indices as part of numbers, indices as part of algebra. Then there is equations. We have to construct, let me get a pen. So we have to construct expressions, equations, and formulas. Solve linear in one unknown. Solve fractional equations with numerical and linear algebraic denominators. Now these notes and example, all these things are given. This is like a linear equation. This is some algebraic type. Sometimes you have to add, sometimes you have to cross multiply, and so on. So these are the different ones that we will study. Solve simultaneous equations in two unknowns. Solve a quadratic equation by factorization, completing the square by using the quadratic formula, change the subject of the formula. And then we talk about inequalities, number line, and so on. Then shading with the inequalities, sequences. So number pattern, that is also written as part of algebra. And this is something that's also coming up in A-level maths. Then there is proportion, direct and indirect, direct and inverse proportionality. Then there is usage of graphs, and kinematics is also included, that is speed, distance, time, that's also included as part of this. Then there is function. So this is not a small topic, this is a big topic. So graph of functions, graphical solutions, cubic, a mix and match, a power function, and graphical solution of equations. Then this is something new. This was there before, but in numbers it is something new. Exponential growth and decay. Estimate the gradient by drawing tangents. Then there is sketching curves, linear, quadratic, cubic, reciprocal, exponential. Then there is the concept of functions, composite functions, and so on. And of course, then there is coordinate and all these things. So this was a brief overview of what we are starting. And I think it's time to start with algebra. So now we'll be starting with algebra today. And let me just pause the recording for a while and ask you if you have any questions over here. So there is the recording, and pause.